Hi there, I'm Judy Graybill. I'm an international relationship coach specializing in step families and co-parenting with the ex-spouse. Today I'm going to start a new series, my first series actually, about my personal step family experience. But I am going to share that story in my current perspective, which has my hindsight 2020 glasses on, sharing what I know today that I did not know then, in order to give people a deeper understanding of the psychology of step-family dynamics, and hopefully to spread awareness of the real issues, but also to hopefully help people, because you really can't help yourself in your situation if you're in a step family if you don't really understand those underlying challenges and problems. So yeah, my experience I affectionately call my dysfunctional step family experience. Talking about dysfunctional step families, or just dysfunctional families in general, but particularly in the step family community, is very taboo, at least to talk about it in public. It's not really done. Mostly it's talked about in private groups and closed groups where nobody else but other stepmoms who are screened to be a good, a comforting voice. So those groups are very screened in order to keep the drama out. And the reason why is because a lot of stepmoms and stepdads are embarrassed to talk about how dysfunctional some of the stuff is, how challenging the stuff is, because they're shamed. They're shamed by other step parents who are having a very rewarding and happy experience, and don't understand. And I get that, because if you're having a very happy experience from day one, then how can you possibly understand what somebody else is doing wrong or what really is going on? So what happens with the shaming is a lot of stepmoms who are experiencing, and stepdads who are experiencing a dysfunction, are shamed and basically told that they are to blame for what's going wrong. And unfortunately, even by step family professionals who don't understand. And actually, it might not even be step professionals. It could be just professionals in the industry. But still, I mean, there are some things that are even taboo. And I would just give one example. You know, I had a step dad client that came to me who said he hated his stepson and had all kinds of terrible things to say about his stepson. He was shamed by the previous professionals that he went to for help, and no surprise, he didn't keep going to them. And I understood the context, because I understand the psychology of what was really going on. I had context for what his words were really saying and talking about, and he ended up working with me for a year or more. There's more, but I won't go into details. So I'm not even going to share that story. So I'm just using that as an example. But I am going to share my story. I'm just going to out myself in some ways, and I'm just going to speak from the heart in order to put context into a lot of the issues that other step families are experiencing. And I'll talk about some of the common ones and uncommon ones, and I'll put it in perspective. So, and there's basically three main elements to my story. One is the relationship that I had with my now ex, And it was a very loving relationship. It was a true love story. It was the deepest love that I experienced to date, even at the end, even though it didn't work out. The second element is the drama, the betrayals, and the lies that actually did happen in all directions. Many unintentional and intentional, conscious and unconscious. And so there was a lot of that going on, and ultimately that was the reason why I left. And for me, it was an act of self-love. And it made sense for me to stay. I mean, it made sense for me to stay as long as I did, and I don't regret that. But I also don't regret leaving when I did. I knew it was when it was time to leave because it was a conscious choice. And that's one thing that we'll be talking about, because that's actually a really common question too, that a lot of step parents are asking themselves right now. You might be one of them. Should I stay or should I go? How do I know when enough is too much? How do I know if this situation is going to change? How do I know if there is some solution that I just haven't thought of yet? Or is this completely hopeless? Now, all of those questions are kind of like part of the same, really, the problem of the should I stay or should I go? And I've even been shamed for leaving. But when I tell people my story, they're mostly surprised that I stayed as long as I did. And they're very surprised when I tell them that I don't regret staying as long as I did, nor do I regret leaving. So that's definitely a story in and of itself. And the third element that I'm going to talk about is my healing journey after I left. That was where all the real growth took place, and the learning, and my awakening. My awakening was very much a part of it, because I was so heartbroken, angry, frustrated, resentful, depressed, 24/7. And my one desire was just to be happy again. And that's where my healing journey started, and my awakening. Those are the three elements of my story, and but now I want to share what the goal of the series is really going to be. I kind of gave an indication to that already, but I'm going to put it in a broader perspective right now. Yes, it is to bring awareness to the taboo subject, the dysfunction, and bring more awareness to what the majority of step families are going through. But it's more than that. I want to put a new face on this old issue. I want to talk about the old issues in a brand new way. I want to share the challenges in the context of the psychology of what's really going on underneath the surface of those challenges, in the context of the vision of what you want, and what I want for you. A happy, healthy, thriving step family that is functional, not dysfunctional. That's what we want. And I want to help close the gap between those things, between what you're getting now and what you want. And that's what I want to try to do in the series for you. I want to empower you. I'm giving a voice to stepmoms. A lot of stepmoms feel very, very powerless. Stepdads as well. Sorry, I keep adding that, the stepdads, as an afterthought. It's not my intention. It's just that because I am a woman, I obviously identify, and I was an acting stepmom, not a stepdad. So I obviously identify a little bit more with the stepmoms. But I have a lot of stepdads and dads who have come to me as clients, and moms and stepmoms. I've had a variety. So, you know, we're all part of that same mix. I spent a lot of time understanding every single person in the dynamic of the step family, the stepchildren, the biological children, the stepmom, stepdad, whether you're childless step-parent or you have children of your own, biological mom, biological dad, ex-spouse. There's so many dynamics and there's so many aspects of this. And even within the commonalities of step family dynamics, every single step family has an element of uniqueness to it. And so where do they mix? You know, and that's why, so every single step family is actually a little bit different. And to some extent, why some of the books and articles out there don't help some step families, because some step families are just too unique, have too much individual things going on that just don't mesh up with some of those general books and articles. And even this series, every single series is going to be like that. It's made to be general. But hopefully, if you're commenting, I will definitely do my best to answer individual comments for your individual situation the best I can, to help account for that. But the powerlessness is a very real struggle for many step parents, and I want to empower you. I want to help you see where maybe some actions that you're taking are just you spinning your wheels, versus some actions that are going to get you the results you want. So in other words, like I for some of my clients sometimes and my materials, I compare it to the Serenity Prayer. How's that go? Basically, God asked me, please give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's what I help, not God, except I'm not God. Well, there's a goddess in all of us, but God, but that's another story. So I'm actually helping you realize where you're going to make the most impact in your step family. So that's what I want to do for you. And also, I want to help people navigate the duality. So like perspective, for example. There is good and bad in everything. And when you're having a really, really bad experience, a dysfunctional step family experience, it's really difficult to see the other side. So just like I was saying, how some step parents and step couples who have a very happy, rewarding experience can't understand somebody who's having a dysfunctional experience. Well, somebody in a dysfunctional experience sometimes can only see the dysfunction, and they can only see what every single person is doing wrong. It's really hard for them to see that higher perspective of, well, maybe it's hard to see their light, basically. It's hard to see how that person might be acting with good intentions. And this is actually a really common thing. A lot of actions are misunderstood in step families. And that is, well, basically that's how the stereotype of the evil stepmother came into existence. It's basically, it's a stepmom who was misunderstood. And so I want to encourage people to look at both the good and the bad in people and situations. And that's one of the things that you will hear from me over and over again. It'll be a theme. I'm going to when I'm looking at things in a new way for you, I'm going to I'm going to lay it on the line of what the others that good intentions of that person is, how to see that person in a good way. And even if it's the kids' other parent, even if it's your partner, and because it's not just with the ex, it happens within the family. The stepkids, the way the stepkids see the step-parent, the way the step-parent sees their spouse, the way the biological parent sees the step-parent, all of these things are looked at often in a negative way. And so I help put that into perspective. I help people to understand what the real motivations are behind many of those actions. And once you actually see the true motivations behind those, it gives you, it allows you to have a greater understanding, thus giving you the emotional capacity to actually choose a different reaction towards that person. So ultimately, I guess, hopefully this series will generate a little bit of healing due to helping you ask yourself deeper questions. So yes, I'm going to challenge you, I guess, in ways to think deeper and bigger and to look at things in new ways. And also, I almost forgot to say this, look at the situation as the problem instead of the people. That's the other thing that we do. When you start understanding the psychology of step-family dynamics, then you stop looking at individual people as the people to blame. You're no longer blaming the kids. You're no longer blaming the ex-spouse. You're no longer blaming your partner. They're no longer blaming you. Instead, you're looking at the system itself as the psychology of the dynamics itself, the situation, as the challenge, as the problem. So then once you frame that and you stop blaming people for the problems, then what that does is that opens you up to, one, you're not going to name call anymore. And when they understand that, they're not going to call you names anymore. And that's an avenue for healing. It changes not just whether you're going to call the names or not, but how you approach situations, how you interact with those people. So all of that, those are things that that's my intention through the series. And finally, I just want to say a little bit about the process. A quote from Oprah comes to mind. When you know better, you do better. And I didn't even watch Oprah all that much. But I remember when one of her episodes that I saw, she said that, and I just thought it was brilliant. And it's so true. So this series is about education. It's about deeper awareness. I got my education through my personal experience, through my certification as a step-family coach, through the Stepfamily Foundation, through lots of books, articles, interviews with other step-families, lots and lots and lots of interviews with step-families, talking to so many in every department. And I'm just looking at my notes. I'm sorry. I just want to see if I missed anything. I want you to know that you You deserve to have a very happy, thriving experience. And if you're not getting that, then I hope that you are willing to look at things in a new way. Accept hard truths. You cannot separate the good from the bad. But once you have that deeper acceptance of those hard truths, and you're willing to start taking those little baby steps, you take this journey that's going to get you into a new place. And that new place could be drama-free. That's very possible. Because I left my stepfamily, and I know that was the best option for me, that scares other people. That's part of the reason why it's taboo. It's part of the reason why it's taboo to actually say that, because most people don't want to leave their situation. Some people might be hanging on too long. Some people may be hanging on for the wrong reasons. And then there's other people who just haven't found the right solution yet. They've been spinning their wheels a long time. So you are the biggest authority on your own situation, and nobody, absolutely nobody, knows more than you do all of the good that you've done in your situation. Nobody but you knows your good intentions. And if your intentions are good, then this is the series for you. And I really, truly believe that 95% of people in step families, every single step family member, has good intention. And sometimes those are misguided. But just don't let other people intimidate you into thinking you should leave if you want to stay. Or the opposite. Don't let them intimidate you into staying if you want to leave. You're the authority on yourself. I'm not even the authority on you. I am only the authority on me. So take what I share with you and really think about it. Don't just accept it blindly, but think about it and see if it applies to your situation or how it applies. And really pick it apart, because remember what I said about each step family being unique. Not everything that I share is going to be relevant for you. And some things are going to be relevant in this way, but not that way. So you want to take everything as a whole. I don't know, sometimes you may need to just take parts of it. So take what resonates, leave the rest. And I'm going to leave you with that until the next one in the series. And I hope you have a great night. Thank you. Many blessings.